I'm Josh Gottry. Welcome to today's weekly lesson. Opportunity to present a piece, discuss a topic, address a technique, or explore a musical concept. Today we're going to talk a little bit about basic tambourine technique. Tambourine, like a lot of percussion instruments, is very prone to making noise even when it shouldn't. So a couple things right off the bat. You want to make sure when you're holding a tambourine, you're holding it very still, very stable, so there's no extraneous noise. When you set it down or pick it up, you want to do so very gently, preferably on a cloth table or a cloth-covered music stand, so there is not any extra noise when the tambourine is not supposed to be played. A couple things about how we typically hold the tambourine. The jingles are mounted on a little post, and the hole for those jingles is slightly larger than the post, and the distance that the jingle can move is certainly thicker than the jingles themselves. So any motion left to right or side to side can be heard, and when we want to play a nice articulate passage that may be notated for us, we want to make sure that those sounds are removed from the equation. So typically we want to hold that tambourine at about a 45-degree angle, which puts the jingles on a corner within that notch and on that post. If we play there, we get a sound something like this. Whereas if we play with the tambourine horizontal, we get a little bit of extraneous noise of the jingles jingling back and forth. Or if we hold it vertical, of course we get a lot of extraneous noise as they move back and forth in those slots. So that 45-degree angle is our best option for a nice, clear, articulate jingle sound. Okay, so once we're holding the tambourine correctly and stable so we're not making any noise, the next most important thing is to remember that the hand strikes the tambourine does not come up to the hand. If we move with the hand, the tambourine is able to have that one sound. If we move the tambourine, we get two sounds as the tambourine returns to its original position. So once you've got this stable, this hand plays the notes. The tambourine does not move. It's just a stationary target for the hand to strike. The best sound or most consistent sound we're going to use with the tambourine with a nice articulate sound, a little bit of head noise, and a lot of jingle sound. So we're going to take and make a little bit of a hammer with our fingers in a bunch together, play just shy of the far edge. Okay, we're holding on one side, we want to play opposite of that so we have the most stability on the instrument. And we're going to strike the head right there with our nice little finger hammer and get a nice consistent sound there every time. With that, you can play a pretty rapid passage very comfortably, or play any number of rhythmic figures very consistently and very easily, just like you would with a stick on a snare drum. So it makes it very easy to execute whatever passages you may encounter. If you need a slightly bigger sound, you want to activate more of the tambourine at once, you can go ahead and take those fingers and separate them out, almost like a little claw, touching as much of the tambourine as possible. And we can get either a resonant sound by allowing the fingers to rebound, or a drier sound with less head noise by allowing the fingers to stay on the tambourine. Again, the tambourine doesn't move, the fingers move to it. A couple other effects that you can get if you want a slightly different sound is to use a fist. Now it's important when you use a fist that the knuckles aren't the first thing to hit the tambourine, but we want that flat of the hand and the flat between the knuckles to actually make contact with the head so we don't damage the tambourine. A little bit more of a popping head sound, creating a greater articulation. And then we can also use the flat of the hand to get a nice little pop in that stroke as well. So again, just a normal bunch hammer, spread fingers, either rebounding or more of that dry sound. The fist, again, making sure that the knuckles are not what makes contact with the head, or the flat of the hand. Of course, not all strokes that you're going to play on tambourine are single strokes. We also do rolls, and there's a few different types of rolls that you may encounter. If you have to play a softer roll, pianissimo, piano, mezzo piano even, typically you'll find that those are performed as finger rolls or thumb rolls, when the finger is actually allowed to bounce along the edge of the head to create a sound. The best way to do that, take your middle finger that usually has a little bit more flesh involved, able to make contact with the head, support it with that thumb just between the first and second knuckle, get the rest of the fingers out of the way, kind of flying out of the area, and allow that finger just to press along the edge and vibrate. Okay, and we're creating a nice bouncing sound as the finger makes contact with the head and creates friction along there. Certainly using some sort of beeswax or some sort of other sticky surface along the edge to help execute that finger roll can be beneficial. But be careful, if it's not your tambourine, make sure whoever owns the instrument is aware of whatever you might be putting on the head and is comfortable with that application. Certainly there are also shake rolls, and there's a couple different ways to execute a shake roll, particularly for louder passages or longer passages. One way is to actually rotate the hand or the arm as an entirety and create two jingle sounds as that comes back and forth. Most of the time when I play a shake roll, I'm going to try and get my hand vertical so that I'm not fighting gravity with that back and forth stroke as much as possible to make life a little bit easier on me. The other way you can play a shake roll is actually by moving the tambourine this way to create a little bit of a smoother motion. It's not quite as loud, but it certainly creates a little bit more of a legato stroke. We don't hear the taka 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 of the back and forth. Okay, again, here's the regular shake roll. And then here's the alternate motion. And then, of course, the finger roll as the other option for some softer passages. So there's a few things to try. If you need to start a roll very softly, sometimes you can use the finger to start the roll. And then continue it with the shake. So there's a couple options like that you can try as well. But hopefully this gives you a few basics to get started working with your tambourine and good sounds out of it. Have a great day.